Good evening and welcome. Starting with our big story this hour, India and China are holding the 14th round of senior military commander level talks today. The talks are taking place at the Chushul Moldol meeting point on the Chinese side. The aim is to resolve the friction points in eastern Ladakh. India is looking forward to a constructive dialogue and is expected to press for disengagement at all the flashpoints. New Delhi has insisted on de-escalation in eastern Ladakh, especially in places such as Depsang and Demchok, where massive military buildup continues. So far, 13 rounds of talks have been held between New Delhi and Beijing. However, both sides have failed to make any headway in the talks. The 13th round of talks, which took place on the 10th of October last year, ended in a stalemate, with China not agreeing to suggestions made by India. In a press conference today, Indian Army Chief General Naravne said that war is always a last resort, but if required, India will come out victorious from the conflict.
If you recall the situation as it existed last January, I think we can say that since then there have been positive developments both along our northern and western borders. On the northern borders, we have continued to maintain the highest levels of operational preparedness, while at the same time engaging with the PLA through dialogue. After persistent joint efforts, mutual disengagement has occurred at many locations, of which I have been telling you from time to time. So that definitely is a very positive thing that has happened over the last 1 year. As we speak, the 14th round of the Corps Commander level talks are underway, and I am hopeful that you shall see further development in the days ahead.
Right ahead of the talks, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin said that the China-India border situation is generally stable at the moment. He further said, and I quote, "The two countries are maintaining dialogue and communication through diplomatic and military channels," unquote. Soldiers of India and China clashed last year, resulting in the loss of several lives on both sides. The clashes erupted after the unprovoked aggression by Chinese troops in Galwan Valley in Ladakh. It's been 21 months since the incident. 13 rounds of talks have been held. Now, there has been disengagement at many flashpoints, but tensions continue to simmer between the two countries. For more on this, we are being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Good evening to you, Siddhant. Thanks for being with us. Now, the 14th round of the senior military commander level talks today. Are we expecting any significant progress to be made during this meeting today?
Well, given the past outcomes, there have been progress. Sometimes there haven't been any progress. Sometimes, so we really can't prejudge the outcome. But of course, the hopes are high that there will be reduction in tension when it comes to friction areas. We know that the Indian security establishment told WION that they're looking forward for constructive dialogue. And the talks are coming on a day when, of course, the Indian Army Chief had his annual press conference. And this is the first time that he's having a virtual press conference because of the COVID crisis. But largely, a lot of questions on China, on the talks, and of course, what next when it comes to India-China border tensions. He, of course, sounded optimistic and said the situation is stable, but also sounded very cautious, saying that it hasn't subsided. There has been partial disengagement, and the focus is towards a full disengagement. As of now, he said the focus is when it comes to dialogue, that continues, because when both sides are having talks with each other, that is a positive development, and nobody, as you pointed out, wants war. But largely, we know the Chinese have been aggressive in past few weeks. They have come up with a new border law. They have changed names of 15 places in the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. The Chinese embassy has written letters to Indian MPs for participating in a Tibet event. So the Chinese aggressiveness and insinuations continue, even as India has been calling for making sure that tensions are reduced at the line of actual control.
Right, Siddhant. Now, in a press conference today, the Army Chief General Naravne said that Of course, war is always a last resort, but if required, India will come out victorious from conflict. Strong words from Naravne there.
Well, of course, strong words. He clearly stated that India is ready to deal with the Chinese army, the PLA, in a firm and resolute manner. That was the big message by the Indian Army chief. A lot of quotable quotes, of course, a lot of questions on China, but also on Pakistan, because remember, these two countries are the biggest worry for New Delhi. While, of course, we know that India-China saw disengagement at several locations last year. When it comes to India, Pakistan, both were able to reaffirm the ceasefire between the two countries, and largely that ceasefire continues, that has stood. But he pointed that there is, of course, concentration of terrorists on their side of line of control, and of course that shows that the nefarious design, that is the word he used, continues from Islamabad to create or foment problems in the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and of course India as well.
Siddhant, thank you very much for bringing us all the latest updates on that upcoming meeting.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.